Should Arsenal sign Moises Casado? That is the question we're going to be talking about today. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys subscribe. I just saw that the previous video we uploaded on this channel has 4,000 views. Third ever video. I literally just started uploading it on this channel 8 days ago. Third video on the channel to reach, or third video that was uploaded and the first one to get 4,000 views. Thank you guys as always for watching and supporting. It's basically a brand new channel that I am uploading on, talking about Arsenal, Premier League football, and all that stuff. I was not able to make a post-match reaction for Arsenal versus Manchester United, but I will try to make one for Arsenal versus Manchester City, which will be tomorrow in the FA Cup. But today, so while you guys, subscribe. Try to generate as much community, as much conversation, and trust me, I just love talking about this football club. I love talking about football in general. I want to talk about some of the things Chelsea is doing in this transfer market as well. I'm going to wait until the transfer market ends to see everything that Chelsea have done and then talk about them. But we are currently going to be talking about Moises Casado and Arsenal. So Moises Casado, the rumors have been picking up recently that Arsenal are looking at him, but as well Liverpool, who are in desperate need of midfielders. We all know that Liverpool essentially need a brand new midfield three. They need everyone. They need a new CDM because Fabinho's getting up to age. Jordan Henderson also, the legs are kind of giving out. So they need more creativity. They need more workhorses, more power, more engines in that midfield, but they also need a CDM. Then you have Chelsea, who have been linked as well, but Chelsea have been linked to basically everyone. They're still linked to Enzo Fernandez and that move that they tried earlier in the window, but Benfica are very insistent on making sure that in order to get Enzo Fernandez, they need the release clause to be paid, which Chelsea still could do towards the end of this window. Just keep an eye out for that. And then there's Arsenal. And Arsenal with Moises Casado is very, very interesting. So just some background. A lot of my best friends are Ecuadorian, and they love Moises Casado. It is that he is their best player. He is Ecuador's best player. Only 21 years old, and Ecuador have been producing some really, really good talent, especially as you see Brighton with Sarmiento as well, with Estupiñán as well. There have been a lot of great Ecuador players coming through the ranks, and specifically Brighton actually recruiting them. But the crown jewel for Ecuador and for Brighton at the moment is Moises Casado. So should Arsenal sign him? And I'm going to give you guys my opinion, but also this is a very complicated and, in my opinion, confusing kind of situation, because if Arsenal wanted Moises Casado, I feel like they would have really pushed a little bit harder by now. They wanted Mudryk. We know they wanted Mudryk. And then when they missed out on him, they went after Trossard, and they got that done deal very quickly. They also had one of those out-of-the-blue signings, one that no one could kind of predict or know until the day that it happens in Jakub Kivior. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but they signed him for around 25 million as well. So they have those two signings. But there's been news recently, over the last few days, that Mohamed El-Neni might have a season-ending injury. Now, that's not confirmed. Mikel Arteta said that they need a few more days to see what the injury is like. It is apparently to El-Neni's knee, and so he might be out for the rest of the season. If Mohamed El-Neni is out for the rest of the season, that really only leaves Thomas Partey in the CDM role. You could play Sambi Lokonga there. You could maybe get away with it in FA Cup games if, but Arsenal might lose tomorrow. We'll talk about, that tomorrow. But you could play Sambi Lokonga in FA Cup games. You could play Sambi Lokonga in the round of 16 maybe of the Europa League. But Lokonga has not really shown that he is fit for the CDM role. Even the coaching staff have been experimenting more with Lokonga as the number 8 role in the Xhaka role, the left-sided center midfielder. So if El-Neni goes down for the season, it puts Edu and Arteta in a very complicated situation where they really do need to get cover, because you just simply cannot rely on Thomas Partey to play every single game until May and stay fit the whole time through. You can't have Partey injured for 2 games, let alone 10 games, which is, Partey has missed 10 games at least in basically all the seasons he's been here at Arsenal. So that's why I think the links to Caicedo are ramping up. But it's very important to know what kind of player Moises Casado is. 21 years old, center midfielder from Brighton. He is very versatile, but not as versatile as people like to think. He is, he can play really anywhere in that midfield. He could play, but I want to focus specifically on Arsenal. Would he be able to play the number 6 role that Thomas Partey plays, and would he be able to play the number 8 role that Granit Xhaka plays? Moises Caicedo is kind of in between, I would like to say. Moises Casado is not a number 8, and he's not really a number 6. Moises Caicedo feels more his best suited position would probably be in a double pivot in like a 4-2-3-1 or a 5-2-3, something like that. Just two midfielders in the middle in that double pivot. That's where Moises Casado probably feels most comfortable in like a partnership. Pretty similar to maybe like when N'Golo Kante was with Paul Pogba. I don't want to compare Caicedo to Kante because Kante is very one of the best, interceptors of the game, readers of the game, tackling. But it is kind of like that. Caicedo is more of a Kante-esque player. A CDM, but not a really full-out creative player. I don't think he's as aggressive as Kante or as really, to be honest, as great as Kante was. Kante's been injured for a while now, but if you remember N'Golo Kante in his prime, best CDM in the world probably, but he was more just run around everywhere, and that's why he worked so well with Pogba, because it was kind of a yin and yang kind of partnership. Caicedo in Arsenal's setup feels like a little bit of a mismatch to me. I don't think Arsenal should be going after Caicedo, and I've been saying this for a long time. I think Caicedo is going to be a fantastic player. I think, personally, I see Caicedo in that Manchester United midfield. I see him with Eriksen, Casemiro, and then you put Caicedo in there. That's where kind of I see it. You can move Bruno Fernandes a little bit further up and kind of focus it there. But I don't see Caicedo in Arsenal's midfield because I don't think he's going to be able to. You don't see him as a Thomas Partey replacement. I don't even think he'd really be able to beat out Thomas Partey. But again, there's not a lot really any CDM that could beat out Thomas Partey. But I don't see him as that, and I don't see him as a left-sided 8 because Caicedo doesn't really have the creativity that I think Arteta is looking for. Caicedo's really good in the tackles, really good at reading the game, but it's kind of like when Thomas Tuchel or even Maurizio Sarri was trying to play Kante further up. They were playing Kante as a number 8. And remember, we were all kind of watching that, and we were like, why are they playing N'Golo Kante as a number 8? It's the kind of same situation I see with Caicedo. So you do need another midfielder, but would Caicedo be happy just being right behind Thomas Partey? I'm not entirely sure. I personally don't really see the fit with Caicedo going for Arsenal. Also because the price would not be justified. If you told me Arsenal wanted to go for Caicedo in the summer for around 60 million, I would say, okay, that you could maybe go for that. But if you want him in January, and the player's already settled at Brighton, has already said he's settled at Brighton and doesn't really want, he's not looking for that move. He's probably more likely going to move in the summer. If you want to pay for him in January, we're talking 80 million, we're talking 90 million, even possibly 100 million. And at that price, it just simply isn't worth it for another reason. And I'll be honest, this is probably one of the main reasons why I would not want to sign Caicedo, but it leaves us in a problem for right now. Declan Rice needs to be at Arsenal in the summer. I'm telling you guys right now, Declan Rice needs to be at Arsenal. He is a player that Arteta can mold how he wants, a player that can easily play the number 6 role, but also can easily play a number 8 role. Fits both very, very well. And it's just a fantastic. Declan Rice is a fantastic player. Any club would be very lucky to have him. You know that Declan Rice likely will go in the summer for around anywhere between 70 and 100 million. If you sign Caicedo or you push for Caicedo now, you are not signing Declan Rice in the summer. It's just the expenditure of 170, 200 million on two midfielders. That's not going to happen. In my opinion, Arsenal's best fit, and I think Arteta knows this, and I think Edu knows this, their best fit is Declan Rice. Because Declan Rice can play in the 6, Declan Rice can play in the 8. With Champions League football next year, you're not going to be able to play Partey and Xhaka all the time, but you will have 3 very good midfielders that all complement each other. Because remember, this is a team game. Declan Rice complements Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka so well. And so I think those 3 midfielders rotating around, obviously with Odegaard and Vieira in that right number 8 spot, in the more creative spot, would be very, very nice. And that is why I believe Arsenal should not be signing Moises Casado. But the problem comes is when you're chasing a title, you can make rash decisions. And you can make decisions that you feel like you have to make. And that's why the Mohamed El Neni injury really throws this into a very serious problem for Arsenal. Do you go out and sign the ready-made expensive signing now that might not be your number one choice, because we know your number one choice is Declan Rice, but you could go get Caicedo. However, then you miss out on Declan Rice. But if you sign Caicedo, he can take you to the title. He can. He can allow Thomas Partey to rest. Again, he's not a perfect replacement for number 6, but he is a very good player. He can rotate in that midfield while El Neni is out for a season-long injury. Even when El Neni was fit, Arsenal were still short in the midfield. With El Neni out for the season, it puts Arsenal in a situation where essentially you have to make a signing. Like, you have 3 midfielders in Sambi Lokonga and Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. I don't necessarily count Martin Odegaard or Fabio Vieira because, again, I see them more as attacking midfielders in that number 8 right-sided role, which is a lot more further advanced and more creative. This is a very serious problem for Arsenal. Do you guys believe they should sign Moises Casado? Out of the situation that you have, there's the rumors about Onana have been out there, but again, that's 50 million. That's a lot of money. Can you sign Onana and sign Declan Rice? The Declan Rice situation is what really throws this. Like, if you were telling me that Arsenal were not going to get Declan Rice and Declan Rice did not want to go to Arsenal, I would be like, all right, go sign who you need to sign in January. But guys, I'm telling you right now, Declan Rice and Arsenal is a match made in heaven. I believe the club know that, and I believe the player knows that. They want to be together. It would be a very, very good partnership. And you have to save that money for then. Unfortunately, Arsenal are not Chelsea. You can't just spend 500 million out of your ass and just get away with it and then pay the fines and stuff. You just can't do that. Arsenal have to be a lot more shrewd with their business. They are rich, of course, but they can't be going out and spending 200 million on 2 midfielders in 6 months. You just can't be doing that. That's not good business. What do you guys think? Should Arsenal sign Moises Casado with the situation that they are in, with the fact that El Neni could be out for the season and Declan Rice possibly being that target that they're looking at? It's really tough. I love Moises Casado as a player. I know my friends love Moises Casado as a player. He's a very, very good player. I just personally do not see him fitting into Arteta and Arsenal's system as nicely, as fluently as a Declan Rice would. And it's one or the other. You do not get both. One could get you to the title, but one could set you up for 7-8 years down the line. It's a very tough decision to make. Let me know what you guys think, and should they go after him. I believe if Arsenal really pushed hard, then Caicedo would be open to joining Arsenal, but it would take a lot of money, and so we'll see what happens. I will be back for a post-match review of Manchester City versus Arsenal in the FA Cup. Don't really mind what happens that game. If we win, awesome. If we lose, well, we have a Premier League title to win. So, like, it's more of a game that, you know, it'll be really interesting to see Manchester City versus Arsenal and see what they do. See what Arteta and Pep do. Do they put out strong lineups, or do they rotate more? We'll see. Take care of yourselves. Subscribe. Guys, thank you guys for the support on the previous video. Hopefully this one hits as well. Would you sign Moises Casado? Let me know in the comments down below. Peace out.